Thank you.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. Is Brian
Good.
up here? Is he up here? Is it just Bob and Marla and myself so far?
It looks like just myself, you, and Marla so far.
Awesome. Well, Marla and I've done like 4 together maybe in a week. So I feel like between her and Marty and I, like we could actually go have a glass of wine and know each other because we've been on ICONversations so much. But Bob, why don't we let you run this one? Since, you're the only guy, kind of let you.
Wow, you're really putting me on the spot here.
I know, right? I had to do this a couple weeks ago, so I'm like throwing you in. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I can improvise. That's not a problem at all. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Just in we're let's see, we're just a couple minutes early, I think, but we could probably get rolling, don't you think?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and do this? Just real briefly, just for the audience, just everybody give a little introduction as to who they are, and I'll go ahead and start off, and we'll basically tell us who you are, the markets you're in, how long you've been with EXP, just a quick little snapshot of your business. So I'll go ahead and get started here. So my name's Bob Snyder. I've been with EXP for a little over 3 years. April 1st is my date. So I work over in the Minnesota, Wisconsin market. So I'm right in the St. Croix Valley belt, we call it. So I'm dual licensed in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I run a team of 12 agents. We do about $160 million in production and about 300 transactions a year.
Wow. That's like amazing. I'm following you. So I'm Vanessa Nunez. I'm in the Austin, Texas, kind of hill country region. I go all over. I am actually a 6-time ICON agent. I just hit my 6th time. So whoop, whoop. I'll be announced in June because I hit it in May. Super, super excited. Absolutely love this company. And I last year was 27 million in production. This year I'm on track for 35 million. It's just me, myself, and I. My husband did get his license yesterday. So yay. So he'll be joining me as a domestic partner in this business. So it'd be awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been in a domestic partnership for 22 years, so it'll be a fun ride for you.
May I ask you for some pointers? Well, he's been bringing me all these farm and ranch people. Like I'm closing a $5 million ranch deal here shortly. I mean, he brings them to me. I'm like, you're in this business already. Like, I don't get it. So finally he kind of, got it because he keeps bringing me all the farm and ranch, and that's what his business is. So nice. It's kind of a natural.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Marla Johnson. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. I've been selling real estate going on now 19 years. I've been with EXP 2.5 years. I'm just on my route to have my 3rd time ICON award with EXP. I do a lot of new home construction now and work with a couple different developers. And I never count what it is production. I should probably look at what that is actually dollar-wise, but I usually sell between 80 and 100 homes right now myself. I do not have a team, so that's something that I've been looking at and wondering how I want to structure my business in the next few years, if I want to establish some sort of team system with other agents that I work alongside, because I do have a lot of agents that do open houses and show sweet homes and stuff at the builds with me. And I'm excited to be part of EXP. It's been one of the best decisions that I've made literally in my life. I'm so excited. Even seeing someone like Brent Grove, who spoke before, I love his videos. I just love the opportunity that we get as being an EXP owner and agent.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited
about spouse too. Sorry, I'm trying to convince mine to get his real estate license, but he's still sticking his feet in the ground. But I really try to convince him.
Yeah, it's a lot of domestic partnerships in the real estate business, and it can work out really well, because everybody brings different things to the table, right? So it's long as everybody knows their role and knows their lane, it works out really well, So with all that being said, obviously, I don't know about your guys' market, but we've been Why don't you just share with us a little bit? Maybe I could start with you, Marla, and then we'll go to Vanessa, and then I'll talk too. What are some of the challenges? Obviously inventory is challenged right now in the market. We're starting to see raising mortgage rates in the marketplace. What sort of things are you guys seeing maybe outside of that, or even relating to those particular issues? How are you dealing with that, and what sort of successes have you had in this market to kind of overcome some of the negativity that we have?
Yeah, we've actually just seen it slow down a little bit. So we've had, definitely benefited through COVID, given all the scary stuff that's gone on around the world. Our industry, our market where we are, has been really strong. We've had record sales last year and even the year before. Prior to the COVID situation, our market was kind of just starting to go up. We saw it decrease around, it was high 2013, 2014, and then it started to go down, and then it kind of came up a bit, and then it dipped down. And so it was about 2019 when we were just seeing it come up. And then, of course, just like most people experienced in real estate, we've had just a huge boom. This year, too, we're still at all-time low inventory levels where, there really isn't much product on the market. So lots of competition of offers, lots of things selling, obviously, the same day they're listed, lots of cash deals, even in the 600,000, 700,000 price point with no conditions. So it is quite a stressful time for especially first-time buyers to purchase homes. What we've found in the last little bit with the interest rates here that have gone up, so people were still getting in at interest rates even at the start of this year at 2%, and now with all of them over 4%, we've seen a big difference in qualifying for people, because they also have to qualify here 2% above whatever the going interest rate is. So with that, it changed our market quite a bit in the spring because people were in rate holds. So we saw a lot of people panicking because it really changed their qualifying between lots of my purchasers, even between 50,000 to 100,000 of the type of home they could get into, which if you're only in a 350,000 price point or a 400, it's like that can change. I had one purchaser literally that if they didn't purchase by the middle of June, they probably wouldn't have been a homeowner because they were approved in the 200 price point. So it did put a lot of stress on the industry and purchasers to try to, we had a lot of influx in price because of that, because people were just like, I need a house, so they'll pay 50,000 more, that sort of thing, just to get it under contract. We are seeing that slow down now a bit with the interest rate increase, but we're still at low inventory levels. So what I've been, telling the people that work with me, the other agents, and what I've also gone back and done as well is really going into those past clients, your databases, and just putting it out there. Like, we need houses for sale, and some newer agents just talking, like, where do you know right now are the average buyers? What are the most competitive homes, which are under that 450 price point? So then marketing in those areas, some people would do door knocking, some people would, just do mail outs or emails or social media boosts in those areas to say, like, we do need houses. And if you're thinking of selling, now might be the time. So just kind of going back, I know in my sphere, I've done that quite a bit. It's really interesting when you do even send personal emails and messages out to people. Sometimes I just do it as a voice memo or a little video memo saying, hey, it's been a long time, we haven't chatted, but in your area, we do have buyers. So if you know of anyone, you have a friend looking to sell, please reach out because, now might be the time for them. And chances are that they'll do quite well. If they've purchased in the last couple of years, they would be able to turn profit on that sale. And we've had quite a few people contact us in regards to those conversations or putting it out there, or you even get other leads. We're like, no, but hey, my friend wants to buy all of a sudden, because now you're top of mind again as well.
Awesome. How about you, Vanessa?
Most of my business is referral. So I do a ton of referral business. Our market is shifted intensely since the end of April. So we are moving into we went from 2,000 homes on the market to we now have over 6,200 homes in less than 6 weeks. Wow. So we're in a shift right now. And I'm grateful actually for the shift because it's actually bringing some people down into reality. So if that makes sense for both buyers and sellers. So I think it's kind of moving a little bit to an advantage of a buyer's market because we have some things sitting now on the market, which allows some buyers to come in and not necessarily paying tremendously over asking. So I think as you move forward in what's happening, so like Marla, in how they have to qualify in, with 2% over, we've got a whole different thing happening in Austin. I'm actually in Austin. Somebody just asked where I was. I live outside of Austin in Liberty Hill, but work the hill country. So I love the fact of what we're doing in our market now. So because I was a very intense buyer's agent, I still do 75% buyers, even though that I'm hitting those higher. I don't think you have to list to last. I think when you understand from a buyer's perspective, you actually offer your sellers a lot more knowledge because you understand the agents that are bringing you the deals. So I'm mostly referral. So that's kind of how and what I've been seeing everything. But, and no, we're not skipping buyer's inspections to get the contract. I would never do that. I just saw somebody ask a question. So if that kind of answers the question.
No, that's great. It's interesting, because we're, like I said, I'm in the Minnesota market, basically the Twin Cities and Western Wisconsin. And we are just starting to see our inventory gradually increasing, not to the levels that you're experiencing over there in Austin. And, I always look at Austin because I have a few friends that are agents down there, and it seems like your market's always just a little bit ahead of us trend wise. So that's interesting. I definitely see that coming down the pipe here for us. But right now
it was fast. It was a fast transition. I mean, it went from 20, I think it was like 22, like the last week of April, to like 3,000 the first week of May, 4,000, then 5,000, and now 62. So I mean, it's just like every week is putting it on. But if you're like looking at us, so be ready for that and already start talking about that, to your people. But I feel like it's a good thing. I know that people are freaking out, but don't freak out. It's actually like balancing. I think we need to balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree to that. And it's a great topic for you to go reach out and talk with people, right? So it's a great conversation piece because if you're not in this every day, people don't really know what's happening in the marketplace, and it's really our job to educate them. And by being their trusted advisor, that's where we're going to get some deal flow from that as well, right? So that's awesome information. Thanks for sharing that piece of it. Here, some of the challenges that we're having some successes with is, for us, obviously with the lower inventory, it's critical to have listings. And, so one of the things that we're doing that has been really successful for ourselves and our team, and we actually have contests amongst our agents within the team, is we are going through and combing through our database and basically providing everybody with mini CMAs with updated market values of their home, and then structuring some conversation around that. So, that's our goal right now is to have every agent within the team to do at least 7 mini CMAs, basically one a day for the course of the week. And that has generated a lot of conversations, which is in essence generated listings for us. So if there's one thing I can share with everybody here in the room that's been very beneficial is send those mini CMAs out. It's just a quick snapshot of kind of what their market value might be, what the comparable properties in the area have recently sold for. I don't know if you guys have ever seen kind of like a HomeBot sort of layout, but we actually use KV Core Market Reports to do that, and it has been really great. So if you're not doing that, it's something to definitely consider. And for some of the newer agents in the room who might not have a huge database to send that sort of information to, start doing it to your friends, your family. Offer it up on your social media sites for people who just want to get an updated home evaluation in this market. And I think you'll get some good traction. It's one thing that's been working well for us in this marketplace.
I think that's a good idea. I always send little kind of notes to text, hey, just wanted to let you know where you're sitting right now. But if you can reach out to a lot more of your database, I'm going to have to learn that with the KV Core. So thanks for giving that tidbit.
Yeah. Another good product too is Cloud CMA. For those of you who use that product, Cloud CMA is really good as well. So it's just a quick little presentation to send out to your client. Obviously you just can't send it and forget it. You need to, shoot them a text. What we do is we say, hey, just want to let you guys know as a service to you as a past client, we're going to be sending you an updated market evaluation on your home. And then we send it via email, and then we respond back to them and just ask them for their feedback and what they had thought. And usually that feedback is a phone call just to make sure that they got it. And of course, that's an opportunity for you to kind of touch base with them and build that rapport, see how their kids are doing, et cetera. So it's a great way to spend prospecting versus, just cold calling people. So we've had, like I said, we've had some good success with that. So one thing I'm happy to share with in this meeting today that's worked for us. Yeah, RPR. Whoops, sorry, somebody said RPR has good reports. Absolutely. That was Lisa who said that. Another good resource for that.
I just wanted to ask, is that Cloud CMA, are you just doing one on your system, or is that an actual separate website that you use?
Cloud CMA is like a subscription-based service. So they basically have some templates that integrate with the MLS system. So yeah, you can go out there and use it for a free trial, or you can just do it within your MLS system and do a CMA that way. But we just like the presentation format of the Cloud CMA a little bit better. I think we pay $45 a month for that.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So what else you guys seeing that's working pretty well for you right now? I know, Vanessa, you mentioned you pretty much do all your work by referral. I'm pretty much in the same boat that way. I've been in the business for over 22 years, so we have a large database that we work through. But as far as the non-referral, is there anything that you guys are doing like pay for leads that's working for you right now? Or is there any, farming techniques that you're using? Is there anything here, any good gold nuggets we could share with the group that's working real well for you?
I was actually asked about 3 years ago by believe it or not, a Redfin agent said, hey, you seem to work a lot of land deals and we have tons of land deals. Can I put your name in for a Redfin referral agent? I said, sure. So I was actually introduced to that about 3 years ago. Took me a while to get boarded on that. And so now I'm a Redfin referral agent. So they'll send out stuff, and I do mostly the land stuff and anything that's outer Austin where they don't have agents that work. And it's free basically, except for you pay 30% referral at closing. So it's been a good resource if you're wanting to add like buyers or be able to add value if you're having a team and that are looking for leads and stuff like that. I've been able to utilize that and help some of my agents icon that are underneath me. And I'm like, hey, where are you at right now? Let's make sure that you're going to icon. So I've got several icons underneath me because I utilize and make sure I'm keeping track of where they are with their deals once they cap. So that's some stuff that I use, but I would go into Redfin referral partner agent, and EXP is a Redfin referral partner agent. So like our broker is, so.
Perfect. Somebody was just asking what features within KV Core do we use to do the mini CMAs, and mini CMAs is kind of a term that we use, but we use the market reports function within, and we generate that right away. We'll send it to ourselves, and then we'll put a little bit of wrapper through the email to send it off to them, or take that information and put it in cloud. So there's two different ways we can do it. What I like about doing the market report is I can be in the contact info of the KV Core client, and I will know the last time that I had actually did it, so that's what I like about doing it within KV Core, because I can take an immediate note in that. So for those who asked that question, I want to make sure you got the answers there. So I know for us, we're doing, I have a team like I had mentioned. So one thing that we do is we're still buying leads from Zillow, which is not nearly the return on investment that it once was. When we originally got into the buying leads from Zillow, we were typically getting anywhere from 4 to 5% 4 to 5 times return on our investment. Now we're getting about 1.5 return. So that's really a product from my perspective that I see is going to slowly diminish, and we're shifting some funds, and we're going a little bit more active into farming, which is not an immediate result sort of thing, but we've been farming for about 3 years now. Geographic farming, about 4,000 homes, and now we're starting to get some payoff and payback from that. So that's another thing that we do pretty aggressively with postcards, with events around the neighborhoods, et cetera. That's worked pretty well for us. But to your point too about the Redfin agent, I've worked with Chase Bank, so they have a agent referral program that's worked out pretty well. Typically get about, me personally, 10 deals a year from that. You have to get qualified for it, but you can check it out if you go out to Chase Agent Express, and you can sign up through there and see if you can be a qualified referral agent for Chase Bank. So that's been a nice little referral opportunity for us as well.
Marla, do you have any other little tips that you have?
Most of mine is the same thing. It's pass referral. I don't pay any leads. I do a lot on social media, so I'll do paid social posts, and that does generate some through there. I unfortunately don't use the KV Core website, so I don't really generate. So it's mostly literally using my database, all my past clients in that sphere, because most of it is direct referral, or the leads that we get off listings or off of our open houses and show suites at the sales center, that sort of thing.
What sort of social media platforms, Marla, are you pretty integrated with?
I have started on TikTok, so that's kind of a new thing. I haven't done any fun videos or anything like that on there yet, but I have kind of in the last year have a profile and are putting all my stuff out there. Google My Business is a big thing, so I know I started in Google My Business a long time ago to make sure my Google rankings are up there. So I'm, regularly posting there, of course, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So I do share out every day listings or videos. I do paid posts through Facebook still, and through Instagram, and paid advertising through there. That's mostly what I do for the social aspect of things.
Are you like time blocking weekly for like video type stuff that you're going to be posting, or is it just kind of more of a random active video that you're doing? How are you leveraging video in your business right now, Marla? Because and the reason why I ask is we're trying to get there. We've been pushing against the wall a little bit on that as far as do we want to do video, but I feel like we need to do video. My coaches tell us we need to be doing this video, at least reels or short form sort of video to educate our client base and just to basically get out there. Are you doing anything specific for just scheduling video, and if so, give us a little tidbit of some of the things you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. So I've hired out a lot of my social media for quite a few years now. So I have different people doing certain things, but then I fill in the gaps as well. I know I'm the same way. I hate being on video. I hate seeing myself, but it is the thing that I have a scheduled post that goes out basically Monday to Friday. Every day there's something going out. I also do on all my listings, even in a market right now that's very competitive, that things will sell no matter what. I do a video out for every listing that I have. I do drone photography, and I do professional photography as well on every listing. So I do have quite a few listings that come through. So those all get shared out. And then I look at, so when my social media people map it out, we always stick with the same sort of routine. So when you're mapping it out, you should have it mapped out for a month. And if you're doing, I always do show a testimonial on a certain day. So that one will come out that same day every week. And then I do one that, is like a tidbit, information, something you should know about the market, whether it's a buyer's tip or a seller's tip. So that would come out once a week on that day. Then the next one would be something about selling the, properties, that sort of thing. So each of those are scheduled. And then I always feature a listing on Mondays. And then you just fill in the gaps where, need be, or where you're feeling the market is during that week. And then of course my listings every day are kind of coming up as well through that. I have found, and I know my social media guys that I pay to do videos have changed. We used to do kind of like the wide angle lenses for videos. Now we've done them so that they're all more effective in reels, because I do reels as well. So they have a different lens and camera now that will take it lengthwise. So that way it fits really well in the screens, because most people view everything off of stories as opposed to post. So it's making sure that when I'm sharing stuff out, that I am sharing it to the story as well, not just posting things, because you do get more traction on your stories typically than your posts. It is trying to fit in. I know I am so busy, but I know my agents that I have working with me and stuff, and the newer agents, making them make that schedule, commit to that schedule, kind of plan it out for the month. And then also the more you can go on and just be real about different things, like even if you're at your kids' sporting event and talk about that, or you're at a home inspection and something is happening. I know that that's where my weakness is, because I hate being in front of the camera, but people love that. That's the ones that they do spend more amount of time on, when you are like, hey, I just finished this home inspection. Can you believe this is what happened? This is a scenario. Or, hey, I was, in a multiple offer situation and my client's got this, and this is what I found out about this type of home in this area right now. So when they actually hear those are the ones that get the biggest amount of traction. So the more that you can do that, kind of the better. And then, or even if you don't want to be live to do it, save it as a reel and then post it out as a reel, because they're getting a bit more attraction by doing the Instagram reels. Does that help or answer some of those questions? I'm not sure. The other thing I do is a lot of my listing stuff and videos I do have a YouTube channel. I'm not a YouTube channel person. I don't have a podcast or anything, but I do save them into YouTube as well.
Sounds good. And it looks like somebody asked you who you use for your social media provider. So if you're willing to share that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I use Our Brand Media. So I'm in Saskatchewan. They're just a local company. So they're not like a large corporation or anything like that. I do hire them. They've started up a company where they do drone photography, video. It's a younger guys that kind of started the organization. So before that, there's a company here that I'm also part of as well. I'm a member. It's called trustedsaskatoon.com, and they're branching out across Canada. And so they promote kind of top businesses within their industry, whether they're law firms or they're, a dentist office or they're a contractor, that sort of thing. So they have 3 in each category, but they also have a social media company as well, Trusted Marketing Services. So those are the 2 that I've worked with. And then I have an assistant that's trained in stuff as well. So he does certain things for me as well.
Sure. So if you had to share with the agents how much to budget for a service like that, what would you tell them?
Kind of hard to explain my services because I do these videos. So I pay a monthly fee, which is different. And I guarantee that I'm shooting like minimum 4 listings per month on it. Right. So if you they give me a bit of a discount for that. And then you share out, it is a couple thousand per month. Right. Mm-hmm. But in my business, that's worth it. Different companies have different marketing plans and how they'll kind of start it out and establish it. And then if you want to pay your posts or whatever, or boost out your advertising, what your advertising budget, on sharing out Instagram or Facebook, it's usually at least a $20 to $40 boost that I pay out to each one. Some of them I go up to $70, $80, depending on what that is that I'm boosting out. So I think it really just depends if you're incorporating, I can't imagine you'd probably get a good social media person for under $1,000, but that wouldn't include all your drone, all your, videos or anything like that. Yeah. That's just for them to create content and do posts. So if you're a young agent, with my newer agents, lots of people are somewhat savvy. If you don't handle technology or don't really work on social media at all, then you really should hire somebody, I think, to get you going, maybe a company that will train you. That's what I did at the start. I wasn't tech savvy at all. Like when I went to university, I was just learning computers back then. In high school, I used a typewriter, for heaven's sakes. Like, so it's, it was a bit of a challenge, and I knew I had to be on social media as that was getting popular, because obviously being in the industry many, many years, we didn't even have email addresses before. We didn't even have a computer system. MLS listings were in a book back then. So just making sure you're changing with the times. And so that's what I did when I first started, as the industry was changing with social media. And I'm not huge on social media. I don't have like 15,000 followers or anything, but I know that with my clients and in my close database, they do a lot of referrals because I relate to the people within my sphere through there. So they're always contacting me, messaging me. But I would suggest starting with a company then that will help train you to use that, or get together with a younger person, because they know TikTok, they know Reels, they know all that kind of stuff, and they know what people like to watch. So I guess it just depends on who your ideal client is to how you'd want to invest or how you'd want to engage your social media content as well.
So how many of you guys are going to shareholders? Because we're going to have Blended Sense there. This is a company that's out of Austin, Texas, and they're working with all the icons here in the Austin area. And we're going to be doing some sort of like reality sort of YouTube show with all the icons here. I don't quite know all the details of it other than I'm doing it. But I've paid them. So here in Austin, because we have such a huge group, they started working with real producers out of Austin, and so many EXP agents jumped in that they're now working with us, and they're coming to shareholders to expand their business platform and what they offer. So they come in and they do reels, they do all of your video and anything that you need them to do. So they've shown up at like my events that I do. I just did a wine party, like I do for my annual just thank you so much. I get a vineyard, and then I bring in a country music artist that's up and coming, and they come out and play. And they went and videoed all that. And so what I did is that I actually created an asset for that vineyard, and I'm giving that to them. So they're going to automatically go, oh my God, if you need an agent, guess who they're going to call? Because I just gave them a very expensive asset that they can share out on social media. So I'm doing things like that and working with Blended Sense. I'm just getting into it. So do I know it all? No, I do not. So I'm, in terms of social media, just jumping in, but you do have to have all the content created. And so Blended Sense is somebody who will be creating the content. So if you're going to shareholders, make sure you go find them, because they will be there and they can kind of explain what they're doing and how they do all that. And then I'm hiring somebody who will then all those assets and post out on social media, so I don't have to worry about that. It's a lot. Like Marla was saying, I think it's a lot to do, and I know what I'm really good at. I don't like being on camera myself either, so I have to find a way to be more comfortable with that. But if somebody else is posting it and I don't have to watch it and critique it, then it's going to get put out there. Because if I'm watching it and putting it out there and posting it, it probably won't make it. So if you're kind of like me, make sure that you're having somebody else do that, because they do want to see that you're being authentic. And when you're authentic, that's usually when you're not going to critique yourself and want to put that out there. So, but check out Blended Sense when they're coming over. They will be at shareholders in, at the where they have all the build a sign and so forth and all of that. So maybe that'll help.
Awesome. Thanks, Vanessa, for sharing that. Now we have a few minutes here, so we've talked a little bit about how we're busy and how we want to focus on what we're best at. All of us here are doing a fairly significant amount of volume. So I'm going to jump back with you, Marla. And what does your team look like? I know you mentioned your husband coming on board. What do you have for administrative? Who do you outsource stuff to? If we could all just share a little bit of that for the audience, I think that might be helpful for those people who are probably experiencing a little bit of pain when it comes to trying to figure out how to get all this stuff done that they need to get done. So would you share with us, Marla, a little bit about what your business looks like as far as human resource goes?
Yes, for sure. So that was one of the big changes I made with coming to EXP, because I was with Century 21 for most of my career. I hadn't switched brokerages. So I paid through the roof in fees for everything that I did. My office bill was like outrageous per month. And there I had, different people doing different things within that company. So I knew coming here, I couldn't do it all by myself. So literally I'm still saving thousands per month by making the switch. But I then hired a full-time assistant within the first 6 months, maybe first 4 months of coming over to EXP. And that literally has been a game changer. I wish I would have even done that previous, because they work solely for me. He looks after everything. So, they do talk about when you're in the business, that is something to change your business to the next level. And once you get that assistant, I can't imagine my life without them, that I would ever go back to not having an assistant. Like, I'm also thinking moving forward, I might have another maybe part-time assistant that does other things. So they look at everything, right? So he does all my deals, puts everything into the Sky Slope. He does some social media posts. He looks after my database. He'll send out emails. He'll deal with all contracts, client follow-up. It looks like it comes from me, but he's the one that sends it all out of my email account, keeps my business organized for possessions, all that kind of stuff. So he does all that sort of tasks. And I think that was a huge investment into my business and me feeling comfortable, because honestly, there were times when I didn't want to take on a new client because I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to deal with all this paperwork. And just having that free up in my mind that I don't have to worry about that and that's dealt with has been huge for me. And what we also tell some of our agents, we do have a couple people that will share an assistant. So we have a couple people that are an assistant, but they don't need someone full time. So that if someone just needs a little bit of help here and there, they just pay an hourly wage and then can help them with their paperwork or whatever it is, because they're kind of trained within that whole system. And then of course I, have my professional, videographer, photographer. Years ago, I used to do my own photos because other people weren't hiring professionals. Then of course, someone that looks after my social media. So that's basically how I set everything up. I work with home stagers as well too. I have a design background, so I do work with clients on restaging their home. But if they need full, furniture rentals, all that sort of thing, then obviously I contract that out and work with them on it.
Awesome. How about you, Vanessa?
Sorry, I know Marty's on stage and people keep asking to talk to Marty. So do we want to ask Marty a question before I jump
Marty
in?
Here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were asking about Marla.
No, I thought so too. And I was like, is Marty on stage? And that's why I kept saying, no, is Marty on stage? So that's
Marty,
why I said the same.
Hey, thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, I've been here for about 30 minutes, but I didn't.
Oh, hi, Marty. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Marty? We'll jump you right in here.
I am Nashville, Tennessee. I'm in Nashville, so I have been an ICON agent with EXP. This is our third year to ICON. We've run big teams, small teams. I've been in the business for almost 19 years, so been doing it a long time. Just to tell you a little bit about our team structure, which I think is the question that you guys were asking. I do have an admin. I think that's always everybody's first hire, and I think it's great. There's a lot more resources out there now that were not available when I started the business. The whole contract to close, being able to pay per transaction, I think that's huge. As soon as you can offload that, I think that would be a really good way to take some paperwork off your plate and without having to take on a full salary if you guys are just getting started or ramping up. I know it's a scary thing to jump out and hire somebody. So I think it is really cool that they have the contract to close. They did not have that when I started. So I do have a full-time office manager. My husband does work with me. He handles, he is a small developer and does some commercial real estate business as well, and does a lot of land and lot stuff. We do have 4 agents on our team. And I've had the teams that are set up, buyers agents, sellers agents, all that. I don't do that anymore. Those systems didn't. I didn't like the way those worked. So the agents that are on our team can do buying or selling. They can do sellers or buyers. So we've got that. We have had marketing specialists hired on in-house. I know you can outsource a lot of that now, and that's what we've been doing. But we are in the process of hiring in a full-time marketer just to do all the things that you guys were talking about. We do a lot of video, and it's funny that Vanessa should mention that she was doing video involving local businesses and then sharing that back with them, because that's something we've been doing for about 3 years now, and it is working beautifully. We were doing it originally with the American Dream TV show. We were doing just small businesses in the areas where we worked. And then we figured out we could do it without going through American Dream. So we just hired our own videographer. We do like little shows with featuring local businesses. If we have a listing in the area, we'll feature that. Really cool. It's all professionally edited, and then we share that. And we target a lot of our local businesses that have big social media followings, because you ask them to tag you back and forth and do some cross promotion there. So that's worked really, really well. So I think it's cool that you're doing that too, Vanessa. That's awesome. So I hope that's some good information for you guys.
Great information. We've had a couple people ask I'll be happy to share kind of what I pay my my assistant. What her role is she does listing coordination for us and handles a lot of just the the team agent needs. Making sure we have our continuing education all in place. Making sure that our photos are organized the right way, coordinating with our social media directors, our social media outsourcers, coordinating with our transaction management team. So we pay her. I try to always pay based upon transactions, as you mentioned, Marty. So I offer a base. The base for her is $40,000, and we pay her $100 per closing. And like I said, we do about 300 deals a year, so she's making about a little over $70,000 a year, and then we pay her some additional pieces based upon special projects that we have internally. So I've been in the business, like I said, for 22 years. I've probably been through 15 to 20 assistants over my career. And one thing I found is that when you have a good one, you got to pay them. So you got to keep them happy. And then our transaction coordination process, we actually contract that out. So for $300 per transaction, from purchase agreement signing to closing, we have a team that manages that whole process. And I also have a virtual assistant that's based out of the Dominican. And so what she does is she does a lot of our day-to-day social media posts. And that costs us roughly about $1,200 a month for her to do all of our social media posting. And she also does some light design work through Canva, etc. So that's a little bit of a snapshot for my team, but I do have a rock star assistant, which is, we give her a nice title. She's the director of operations for our team, the Snyder team, and she really is the master coordinator of everything for us. If we didn't have her, our lives would be a lot more challenging for sure. Oh, did we lose somebody? Looks like we still have Vanessa. Vanessa, you were getting started.
I'm still here.
Yeah, you're there, Vanessa. Well, you were getting started, then Marty came on stage. We want to introduce her. So sorry we cut you off there. So why don't we hear a little bit about how you're structured over there?
Like I said, I'm a solo agent. I do have a transaction coordinator, and I agree, you pay them well. Like, I started her out at $295 for buying and $395 for listing. Now she's $595 and $695, but I've added responsibility onto that and taken some stuff off my plate. I have also added a second assistant that is literally just kind of what I call her my sphere assistant. Anything that has to do with current clients, past clients, the parties. I sponsor all of the concerts for a concert venue here, and I have 30 tickets to give away every single concert. So I make sure that she has a list of 30 people who we're giving those concert tickets out to. Sometimes they're to my vendor and their team. Sometimes they're to other agents, actually other EXP agents that we've just shared, or they've done something really cool for me, or I've done something for them. And I just want to say thank you. I see you and I appreciate you. I give it to them. So she kind of headways all of that. I think in this business, we can't do it alone, even if you are a solo agent. So it's everybody that surrounds you that really helps in your team. And if there's a way to have an assistant on quote unquote on demand in the beginning, I highly recommend that. I have another agent that's helping me onboard agents, and I pay her per person she onboards because I just can't do everything. So I think that's, you find the structure that works for yourself, but having assistance is the best way you got is to wrap yourself up.
Perfect. Excellent. And I just sent a quick little, looks like we had a hand up. I don't know if they They had their hand up. Now I don't see them out there any longer. I need to head out of here in about 5 minutes, but I wanted to see Marty and Vanessa. Could you guys stick it out just for a couple extra minutes if anybody has any more questions at all?
Sure.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. That'd be great. Thank you. So it looks like I just want to go back through our chat and see if we've been answering all the questions that people have had. Looks like we got some people who just want to connect up on Instagram, etc. So I'll put my Instagram handle out there. And we do have shareholders coming up, so that'll be exciting. So this is going to be my fourth shareholders. So I actually kind of prefer shareholders over EXP Con. I don't know about you guys, but I just seem to like that better. I don't know why. Maybe just a little bit smaller. But of course we keep getting larger and larger. So Marty, are you going to that as well?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Marty, are you going to shareholders convention?
Yes, I am. I will be there. So we're not doing like an extended stays. We're only there for a handful of days. We got 1,000 kids and 100 sports going on. So we're coming in and coming out. But yes, we are definitely. My husband and I are both coming. So we'll be there.
Yeah, I hear you. I think we're flying in on the morning of the 18th and flying out in the afternoon of the 21st. So yeah, it's gonna be a quick stay.
I'm there 24 hours, guys. Like literally 24 hours or 48 hours.
Wow.
Sorry, I fly in Sunday morning at 10, and then I fly out on the 21st at 10. So I'd love to see you guys, everyone that's there. So it's amazing. Love shareholders. It is great for a new agent too. Someone's asking. I think it's good for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Highly recommend it. When I went there, actually, I was invited to a shareholder event before I was an EXP agent as a special guest. And that was one of the key reasons as to why I joined EXP. Because I was a Remax guy for 20 years. And so it was really cool to see everybody's on the same page. They're collaborating. It was just such a great environment. Right when we got back from that, we were on board. For the most part, we put a plan in place to be over within the year, which was then we converted over to April 1st. We brought our whole team over. So it's just a great event. So I'm looking forward to it. But I got to run. It was great talking with you guys. So if you want to
look for us at shareholders.
I absolutely will. You guys had some great information. I hope the crowd found that information great as well. So have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you there.
Yeah,
thanks, Bob.
Definitely. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Happy to help in any way.
Ditto here. If any of you guys want to ask us direct questions, please open your mics and just kind of like raise your hand or get a mic, because sometimes it's hard for us to see that. We'll stay here for maybe 5 more minutes, Marty?
Yeah, that sounds great. I did notice a question way up in the chat, and it was right when I got on here, and they were talking about sellers having a tough time with the shift in the market. And that's what you guys were talking about when I first popped in. And I thought it was interesting, Vanessa, hearing you talk about you guys have made a pretty quick shift. Nashville is bonkers, and we haven't shifted. We're starting to stabilize, I think, a little bit. A shift would be too aggressive of a word for me to use. But what I'm noticing, and Vanessa, you can weigh in on this as well, what I'm noticing is that when we're going to price things for sellers, things are comping out really high because everything's bid up. So what I've been doing is I've been going really in detail with my sellers, and I'm showing them where all these properties started, where they started their original list price and what it was bid up to. So, because you can justifiably comp a house out a lot higher now than you could even 3 months ago. So what's happening is the inexperienced agents are comping them out, not looking at where the starting price was, but looking at the end price. And then adding a little on top of that as they go to market. And what they're having to do is reduce the prices. We're starting to see some price reductions.
Exactly. It's the same thing. I try to tell my clients, but some of them don't always want to do that. As you know, you can say, hey, look, I've got one starting now, which I've been telling them all along, we're $599 to $619, because I didn't want to really overshoot it. I want to see where things really closed out and what it would really look at.
Yeah.
And we're going to list at 629.9, and still very conservative because all the other homes that have closed have been bidded up. But right now we're seeing people, like you said, they're taking a step back. So don't try to push it up to that next highest level. I think that you need to look at where they started. And as long as you're starting there, let other people spend their money.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to spend their money.
Yeah.
It'll get there if people want to spend their money for it, but you don't spend their money. And that's usually the thing that I recommend to my sellers is like, look, we're not here to spend the buyer's money. Let the buyer spend their money. They will, if it's worth it to them, they will bid up and you will be in a multiple offer situation. And I think that that is the best advice. I don't care what market you're in. Always be on the conservative side, not the highest side. You know, don't always be the one trying to push to the next level because it's got to level out at some point. So make sure that you're kind of in there because the point is to sell the house, not to have it sit and reduce.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a leveling in our market. We're hitting a ceiling on pricing. So if everybody's priced at 500, but they would bid up to 525 to 550. You know, you might price at 525 or 515 and still get the 550. But if you price at 550, it's highly unlikely that you're going to end up at 575. We've hit kind of a ceiling. So that being said, I encourage my folks to price a little bit more conservative, let organically get bid up. Because if you go too high and you have to reduce down, then you're going to have to negotiate something.
Exactly.
So we're having to be really careful, but we're definitely not seeing a shift yet. But I think it's interesting.
Well, we did. It was overnight, Marty. It was, I mean, literally overnight. I mean, it, like I said, it was like 1 week it was 1,000 more than 2,000. It was just crazy. And now we're up to 6,200. So pay attention to your market because it can happen fast. And someone said they did want to ask us, how do we plan, set goals, and execute, and how do you stay on track? So for any of you guys, I actually do a goal planning. Every year they have me do it in the big auditorium. I was doing it in the Icon, but it's gone to the big auditorium. And I'll do it in the fall. And it is literally goal setting and how you can look out 10 years and then you take it to 5, then you take it to 3, then you take it to 1, and then you take your goals down to 90-day sprints. So kind of like how we're doing the 90-day sprints, like Dave Kennard started the 90-day sprints of attracting. You do the same thing with your goals and you're always making sure you're on track. But I look at my goals on a big scale and then I take a handful of them, I put them on a chalkboard that I cannot erase. That's number one key. And I have all my goals. And so every time I'm sitting at my computer, I see my goals. And then I put a checkbox next to them. Am I doing and getting these off? And how many can I check off by the end of the year? So I've definitely already checked off 6-time Icon agent by June 1st. I did that in May. So I look at all the stuff that I'm trying to hit there. Am I on constant track? I'm on track to do 35 millions. I'm on track to do 60 transactions. So I just launched my Ranch Texas brand. So if you see your goals and you take a goal planning session, find somebody that's a running mate. So I have another Icon agent here that we have been doing for 8 years, planning goals together. So you make sure that you're staying on track. So yes, I do. And it's very important. And I'm sure Marty does the same thing because her and her husband are both in the same business. So.
Yeah, as far as goal planning, like we do it, you know, obviously in December, November, December, we start getting prepared. And then we do spend quite a bit of time in January and February. Those seem to be a little bit lighter months for us to kind of tweak those goals. And then we revisit them. Actually, we were revisiting them, especially sales goals, you know, weekly, at least bi-weekly. But since, you know, things have kind of gotten crazy and busy, we're at least checking them bi-weekly now. And then we're reviewing with our team members, you know, the goals that they set for themselves. We are checking with them to see, you know, quarterly if those goals are still where they want to be, you know, or if we need to shift them, or if they're way past them, or, you know, what does that look like? So, yeah, I think it is important to goal set, and I think it's important to revisit those goals. This year, we've had to up our goals a couple different times over the year already, just because of the way the market has been. So I think goal setting is important. I think the follow-up and the tracking of it too is, because if you're setting goals and not tracking them, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, agreed. Hey guys, I know that it's getting late and I've got to jump now because I've got to head to actually Dallas because I have a meeting with one of my clients in Dallas. So I've got a 3-hour drive. It has been awesome. I'm like so overjoyed with being with Marty again and Marla, and Bob was a new one. So it's been great. And Marty, I look forward. We got to have at least a glass of wine at Shareholders. If you're not at Shareholders, please make plans to get there some way, somehow. If you're at Shareholders, look me up. I'll be there for 48 hours. I'm happy to sit and chat with anyone. So have a great day, guys. Thank you again for this opportunity. We absolutely love it. Marty, see you soon. And please, let's connect because we gotta make sure we have a glass of wine. So
I know we've been on these panels together so much. I need to see your face.
I know. I feel like I know you. I finally got with 2 other Icon agents. Like I knew them, but I didn't know them. We've been communicating for 2 years, and we were finally all in the same place. And we're like, okay, let's have lunch. So we did an impromptu lunch, and it was amazing seeing them in person. So I love everything that EXP, but when you can get in person and then see the people you've been communicating with, it's just I don't know, just amazing. So,
totally
guys,
agree. Well, listen, thanks for having me. It's always an honor to share the stage with you guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great